Yo, what is going on, everyone? Welcome back to Spreading the News. This is episode 22. Is this 22?
I think so.
Episode 22 here on August
Should have been
21st.
21 this week
What?
for Paulie. Should have been 21 this week for
Oh,
Paulie.
that's true. And
That's a
it would have
shame.
been on August 21st too.
That's a shame. That's a really missed opportunity right there.
That is a big missed opportunity. Damn. Well, today is August 21st. We are recording on a Sunday. As you guys can see, Bryan is back in his setting from where he goes to school. I'm sure you can guess by his banners if you're watching on YouTube where he goes, in case you were curious.
Yeah, these guys downstairs right now are being really loud. I hope the mic doesn't pick that up.
Well, right now you're okay. Don't worry
All
about
right,
it.
good.
But Danny's not here, as you can see. Danny is also back at school, and he, for whatever reason, wasn't able to jump on today. He didn't give us a specific, so maybe we'll figure that out later on. But we have this episode today of talking about pretty much nothing but bad because the Yankees are still bad. They're horrendous. And Bryan, let's just jump into our Yankee of the weeks. We'll get that over with, and then this might be a shorter episode because it's not really much to talk about. Nothing happened that crazy.
Yeah.
But let's just jump into the Yankee of the week. We'll start with you first. What do you got?
All right, man. So again, another tough week for the Yankees, but there was one bright spot I feel like in this week of all the bad, and that was the newly called up Yankee Oswaldo Cabrera. And I know you love him too. He's already worked his way as our group chat picture and my phone background because he has provided a much needed spark on defense, really, actually, mostly for the Yankees this whole week. He hasn't really hit much, but you saw what he could do with a couple extra base hits so far. But Oswaldo has just been really fun for the time he's been up. We all expected the Peraza call up when Oswaldo. It's gonna be tough, Oswald and Oswaldo, but Oswaldo Cabrera was the one the Yankees decided to bring up, and he's been kind of electric in the field. He's made a bunch of really nice plays for the Yankees, especially in big spots, and he's just playing his heart out there. And obviously that's what we needed to see from these guys who look like they're going through the motions these past few weeks. So you see Oswaldo putting everything on the line every game, and that's just something we have needed to see from the Yankees for a while. So hopefully it could be the beginning of some good things for them with Cabrera.
Yeah. And I think the best part so far for me, or one of the best parts about Oswaldo so far has been when he came up, his first time, first roll call, pops a grenade, tosses it to the bleachers.
He has such a fun attitude, and he's like just having so much fun out there. And those are my favorite types of players. I know yours too.
Yeah, definitely. And the Yankees don't really have much of that right now, which is why it's so
No.
refreshing. I mean, who else is like that in terms of person? Like Nestor, maybe Carpy was like that. Who else though? Like
As
anyone really?
Oswaldo's the most fun Yankee this year. I would already put that on him. He's only played a few games,
Really?
but
That's an
having the most
interesting
fun at
take.
least. He's having the most
Yeah,
fun.
definitely. And we were talking in the group chat when he made that catch into the tarp yesterday morning or yesterday afternoon for that afternoon game. Um, how he's just willing to do whatever it takes to stay up, and you can see that with how hard he plays. He is his hitting is not really there yet. I think he has 2 extra base hits so far, but hopefully he can figure that out. Of course, it sometimes it takes a little bit for some of these guys to figure it out, but who knows? He might not figure it out, but he's having fun. He looks like he's being a good player to spark up the clubhouse, and hopefully it'll continue.
He's also provides a lot of versatility. He's played, I think he was the first Yankee since maybe ever to start their first 3 big league games at 3 different positions. He played third, right field, and short, and made great plays at every spot that he's been at. So you can really throw him wherever you want. And he's plays above average defense wherever. You talk about his hitting. He's not supposed to be like a crazy good major league hitter. I mean, I think he's the Yankees' 14th overall prospect, which isn't like great, but they just brought on kind of just for a fun spark in defense, and that's what he's been.
Mm-hmm.
So, who knows? I mean, he's a switch hitter. He's fast. He has some pop, which we have yet to see. But I mean, I want to keep the Oswaldo train going for as long as we can because I'm having fun with it.
Yeah, and actually he's their 11th ranked prospect. I was just wanting to double check that, um
Oh,
but I mean, he was mashing before he came up. He was hitting before he came up in the minors since July 12th. He was hitting 337 with 7 homers, 23 RBIs, 11 walks in 24 games. And entering the week which he came up, he had an 18-game on base streak. So the Yankees were looking at him as a little bit of a spark in terms of because they've just like I mean they're horrible, Brian. Like all of August they've been horrible. I think they've tallied up to 5 wins now in August, which is hard to believe because it's August 21st and 5 wins in August. You play every single day. Um, they're they're arguably the worst team in baseball right now. But on Oswaldo Cabrera's first game in which he came up, it was definitely an exciting one. The Yankees came all the way back in extra innings with the Josh Donaldson walk-off grand slam after Aroldis Chapman blew it in the was it the top of the 10th inning or was it the ninth that he blew it?
I thought it was the 10th because they started him with the automatic runner and we were all mad about that. Wasn't that it?
Yeah, I think it was the 10th too. But nonetheless, it was a great win. That Josh Donaldson walk off, you could see it if you go to our TikTok page. That we've been trying to, you know, get that started up, but you could see that there. Um, but yeah, it was a good win, but not not a good week. Not a good week of Yankees baseball. And I think we said we wanted 5 wins, like go 5-4. They're not officially like they have the Mets tomorrow, and we were including the Mets series, but they're not going to hit 5-4. Um, so Brian, what is wrong with the Yankees right now? What is wrong?
It's really what isn't wrong with the Yankees. There's so much wrong with this team. Actually, if there was something I think that's actually been okay, it's been their starting pitching as of late. You can point to the bullpen a little bit, but you know what? Actually, I'll pin it on the offense because if we see that, maybe you could pull it up because I have it in my mind right now, the power outage graphic. Um, that shows how the Yankees offense has been struggling mightily over this stretch, and all their big bats are not performing like big bats. And I think that is definitely the reason why they've dropped so many of these games recently and throughout the whole year, really. Like you mentioned, they've been one of the worst teams in baseball over the stretch, but and we go week by week, but this has been like, over a month and a half now of like subpar baseball for the Yankees, like really bad. And again, if you have those stats yet, but I think Judge is hitting like 184 over their last whatever. DJ slumping actually came through a little bit today. Benny's been horrible until today. So I guess a lot of good things to look for from today, but up until today's win, the offense was just not. It had been such a struggle to score for them. They got shut out like 3 times in a week. Like it was bad, and I mean, I still haven't seen enough to convince me otherwise that won't continue after today. But we gotta hope the Paul O'Neill Day inspired them to be good. I don't know.
Which was awesome, by the way. Paul O'Neill Day was awesome.
It was.
Love Paulie.
I do. I love that guy.
The Yankees in their last 18 games are 4-14. I'm just adding on to the numbers here because New York Yankees stats tweeted 2 days ago. The Yankees were 3-13 in their last 16, which was their worst 16 game span within a single season since the year 2000. But the Yankees won the World Series that year. So if you're thinking maybe it's not time to panic yet, I mean, I guess you have that kind of stat to back you up that like history repeats itself. And that they like if the 2000 World Series champion Yankees can do it, why can't the 2022 Yankees do it? But I don't know about you, Brian. Like today was a good win, and we've talked the last few weeks about the panic meter, and I feel like each week it's been progressively rising. My panic meter is like it's there, like it's at a 10. Like my panic meter is like at the max. Where do you stand in terms of?
I 100% agree. It's all time high, especially considering this year. I have it in front of me now. They broke it up differently by each player, but Judge's last 8, he's hitting 148. Gleyber in his last 19, 171. Rizzo in his last 11, 143. DJ in his last 13, 189. And Benintendi, this is all before today. Benintendi's career as a Yankee was 192 before today. So it's got to be an all-time high when all your bats are something like that, and you have a few injuries too. Stan hopefully on his way back, but he hasn't looked good in Double-A in his rehab assignments. But so you have all those big bats slumping. You have guys hurt. The panic meter has to be at an all-time high because we're seeing the Yankees at their worst right now. We've seen the 2022 Yankees at their best, which was untouchable, the best team in baseball, and now we're seeing them at their worst, which is the worst baseball team I've ever seen. And that is really startling to me, because I would never think that the team we saw at the beginning of the year could turn into this. So you expect not everyone's going to slump like this in the big moments in October and late in the season, but God forbid this happens, we have no chance.
Yeah. And the scary thing is, this is not the same team from the first half of the year. It's just not. Like that team is. I saw Dan Federico. I don't know if it's Federico or Federico on Twitter, but he tweeted yesterday. It was a great tweet, and couldn't be I couldn't agree more in what he said. He said pretty much, I'm just gonna guesstimate of what he said. But he said that this is not the same team from the first half, and that like that team shouldn't even sorry, I just dropped my phone. That team shouldn't even be associated with the second half team, because those are two different teams. It's like 2 different years is what it feels like. Like that's how bad this baseball stretch has been for them. Judge isn't hit, and like when Judge isn't hitting, like we always said, like Judge is the biggest catalyst for this lineup, and he's not hitting. So when he's not hitting, no one's hitting. Rizzo's not hitting. DJ had a solid day today, but he's not hitting. He's dealing with that toe thing that he's dealing with. Whatever, will probably flare up and to be an IL injury soon. But Stanton, like you said, Bryan is not looking good in the minors on his rehab stint. So who knows what's gonna happen there? I'm not gonna go through everyone because you pretty much just did, but it's really bad right now. It really is. And I'm not trying to sugarcoat. Like, I don't want to sugarcoat it, because this is for anyone thinking that this team can still go all the way. They need to make drastic changes to their play. I mean, they can't make any changes other than calling up prospects, but like they sent down Al Abreu today because, or no, he got hurt. They put him on the IL. They still haven't called up Clark Schmidt. What is that about? Like what? Like how unserious can this team be?
Was Luke Bard.
I keep using the term unserious. How unserious can this team be? I mean, we saw Hal Steinbrenner get booed off the field today on Paul O'Neill Day.
Good.
When has that ever happened? I can't remember when that's ever. That's probably the first time he's been at the stadium all summer. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, you're probably right. When you talk about the unserious thing, it seemed like they were kind of just coasting their way to the playoffs after like they had such a commanding lead on the division when I don't know what it was at its highest, maybe like 12-ish games or whatever, with relatively not much time to go in the season. But now what is it down to 7-ish? Like it's definitely doable. They play the Blue Jays again. If we continue like this and the Blue Jays get hot, the division is seriously in danger. So you're right. They have been unserious. It's time to get serious right now.
Yeah, and we saw even Boone yesterday in his post game interview where he was slapping the table. He was pissed, and he like. I understand from a managerial standpoint in terms of answering these same questions over and over again. Like, are you worried? How do you feel about the teams behind you? Like what can this guy say? You know, like what is he gonna say every single day? But like,
He can't say anything to make anybody happy. He's got to make sure his guys go out there and do it, which is what he's been saying. So don't blame him for that. But these guys got to win games. I mean, they started today. After that rant, they won their first game from today. So maybe that's the season changing moment. I don't know. We'll see.
It's pathetic. It's a pathetic brand of baseball. Probably like I've tweeted a few times. This is probably the worst stretch of baseball I've ever seen from the Yankees in my lifetime. I can't think of a worse stretch of play in any other year. Can you think of anything off the top of your head?
No, I totally agree with that. This is the worst I've seen them. And it's funny too, because earlier in the year, I said that this was the best I've seen them. So this is both the best Yankees team I've ever seen and the worst, I think. So it's really, really, really strange year.
I don't even think I think it was you that sent a TikTok or something that said they're not even on pace for 100 wins anymore. Is that what that said?
I didn't send it, but I wouldn't surprise me. I think I was thinking about that too, because I remember in our preseason predictions, we all had them around like 94 wins, and then we looked like idiots. They looked like they were going to win 120, and now it ended up, we might be right. And then a 94 win season after the start they had is not good. Like that's really, they were
No, that's
like, no, not that we care about regular season records or anything, but from what they were going to do, like there were talks of them, breaking the single season win record to not even winning 95 games is like, that just shows how bad they've been, and that's very possible.
I mean, that's a monumental collapse. Like that is an all-time collapse. I've never seen anything like this in my life in sports. I mean, the closest thing that I can think is like the Warriors, the 73-9 Warriors blowing a 3-1 lead to the Cavs, but like obviously this isn't to that stature yet, but it's who knows, it might get that close. Um, but anyways, we'll move on to my Yankee of the week. My Yankee of the week is actually because of his performance today in a win that the Yankees absolutely needed to avoid getting swept. Andrew Benintendi finally hit his first home run as a Yankee. Over his last 7 games, he's actually hitting 240 with 321 on base percentage with a 520 slug. So I think his numbers are progressing a little bit higher to when he first got here. He looks a bit more comfortable. I still expect him to keep progressing and, being the player that they traded him to be.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty confident in Benintendi, but he hit that go ahead, pretty much game winning home run today, which was awesome. And he hit that leadoff double, or was it leadoff, or was it one out double? He hit a double in the middle of the game, and he was the run, and so he was responsible for 3 runs today out of their 4 runs. So without him, they don't win today, and the Yankees are looking at a sweep to the Toronto Blue Jays. And where things stand right now, as I'm pulling it up on my phone, in the division, do you know off the top of your head, Bryan, the division lead?
I said it before. I thought it was like around 7, but after the win, it might be
It's 8 now. Yeah, it's
8.
8.
Yeah.
So if the Yankees don't win today, they're looking at 7 games up, which, like you said, Bryan, is totally doable in terms of coming back. So thank God they won today. They got the Mets. They got the Mets coming up. Scherzer and possibly DeGrom. I think I read that the Mets aren't sure whether or not they're going to do Taiwan Walker or DeGrom. Hopefully they'll do Taiwan Walker because I don't want to face DeGrom. We'll see how that'll go.
It's funny because John Flaherty, they flash up the Yankees' next 3 probable opponent starters today. Obviously, Manoah, then Scherzer, and then DeGrom was supposed to be their next 3, and they were all talking about how the offense is, probably going to struggle in those games and all that, and how they're being counted out. And John Flaherty actually made a good point and said, "What if the Yankees, win those games or 2 of those 3? That could really, like, I don't know how they do it, but if that is something that would happen, that could be something that turns the season around for them to think like, okay, we can beat these good pitchers. Like, you never know what could happen. I mean, they won today. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't really expect them to win today. So they already got it done. They already beat Manoah, and like, who knows? Let's be positive now. Maybe they could beat Scherzer and DeGrom if they see him. Who knows? But
Yeah, and as you said, Manoah, that popped a thought in my head before. Like we said, this is going to be a short episode. So, but before we sign off, I wanted to talk about today. Manoah plunked Judge twice, threw him high and in, and then we saw Garrett Cole chirping, came out and was chirping, and then I think I saw Manoah say after the game, like, if Garrett Cole wants some of this, tell him to come past the Audi sign next time. So look for maybe some potential Yankees Blue Jays beef the next time they see each other. Maybe you'll
such a
see a brawl. Who knows?
such a soft pussy thing to say by by Manoah, and I'm sorry, but he was on the field. He could have gone after Garrett Cole if he wanted. He's telling Cole, like, Cole went out there and challenged him. What's Manoah doing? Apologizing to Judge, pretending that he didn't really throw at him after he did it twice. Like, I don't buy that from Manoah at all. He's such a, I cannot stand the guy. I'm gonna say I 100% think he threw a Judge on purpose twice. I definitely think it was, and I just think it's such a soft thing to do to when a guy like Judge and Cole, they're confronting you. He's backing off like, I didn't mean to do that. Like, I don't know. We know that Manoah is that, like, no nonsense, like, pitcher that's gonna, like, shove and do his thing. So, Judge got the best of him in their last matchup, that, the memorable home run Judge hit. And Manoah probably didn't want to do that again. So he's trying to back him off the plate twice, ends up hitting him the second time. And you're going to pretend that you didn't do it on purpose. I don't buy that. Go out there and, like, own up to what you did. Like,
Right. Uh, Judge said after in the post game that he didn't think it was intentional after that, after talking with Manoah, but who knows? But be on the lookout, like I said, for their next series in terms of what might happen.
I don't know if you saw Nestor said that there was conversations about hitting Vlad the next inning, but they said the game is too close, which I'm
which is
in
good.
agreement with. I
Yeah.
wouldn't. Yeah.
Were you gonna elaborate? Do you have it?
No, I mean, no. I wouldn't have been upset if they put Vlad on and started something. It could have been interesting. Defend your guy, but I like, we got to win games now.
We gotta win.
So
Yeah,
I like
it's not
better.
time.
It was the better move.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not time to fool around right now. We needed the win.
Yeah.
But like we said, Yankees got the win. They avoid the sweep. So I can't believe I'm actually happy about that. But like we said, Scherzer, DeGrom. Hopefully not DeGrom, but we'll see. I mean, if the Yankees can even if it is Scherzer and DeGrom, if they can split, like I'll be more than happy with that. Just limit the damage, keep things going, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
Mm.
But that's all I got. Unless Brian, you have anything else to elaborate on?
No, I will say actually, you tell me, what do we say about our aces? What's an ace supposed to do?
Well, I always say aces stop losing streaks and keep
Yeah,
winning streaks
and
going.
start winning with.
Yeah,
So great performance by the man, Nasty Nestor today, a real ace to
yeah.
finally get us on the winning column. So got to shout out Nestor there.
Nestor shoved today, man. Nestor looked
Yeah,
really good
he's
today.
awesome. He's our best
Um,
pitcher now.
yeah, he looked really good. So shout out to Nestor. Hopefully, we have reinforcements coming, so we'll see. But that's all I got. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at Spread in the News, on Twitter at official STN Pod, on TikTok at Spread in the News. All the socials are there. You can see it on the graphic if you're on YouTube. But I did want to mention quick now that obviously school is starting up for me, Brian and Danny. Um, there's a chance due to scheduling we might have to switch around when we release episodes or when we're recording them. So just be on the lookout for that. We'll obviously keep you guys in the loop. Um, as of right now, we have no plans to change anything, but just in case that arises, we'll let you know. But yeah, that's all I got. Thank
Me
you all
too,
for
man.
listening. Thank you all for listening. This has been Chase,
Bryan.
and obviously Danny's not here, so you'll see
Danny,
Danny next
the
week.
only thing Danny wanted us to throw in there was don't let this win distract you from how bad they've been recently. Danny wanted us to throw that in there.
Oh
That's
yeah,
it.
thank you. I forgot about that. Yeah, he would have been really
Yeah.
upset if I didn't mention that.
Yeah. But I
Um,
got you, Danny. See you next week, kid.
See you, Danny, and see you all. Thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Peace.